it's Tina and I'm back and I have a fun video for you guys today. Today we are playing with the Melt Cosmetics and Beetlejuice Waiting Room palette that I recently picked up. I did a shopping blog video where I talk so much mess about this palette, oh my god, and then in my most recent haul video, I will link it over here, I went ahead and picked this palette up along with the second version of this, which is the recently deceased palette. We're gonna do a separate video on that one, but this video is gonna be all about the Waiting Room palette. So in this video, I'm actually gonna share 3 looks that I created using this palette, and I'm gonna walk you through my final thoughts after putting this palette to work, okay? I'm gonna let you know what I think about it. Spoiler alert, should I give you a spoiler alert? No, I'm not going to. So I'm gonna just quickly show you the packaging of this palette up close, and I'll also show you the shades and swatches before we get into the looks, and I'll just walk you through a couple of details and then we'll jump right into the looks. So the Waiting Room palette, again, was released by Melt Cosmetics for holiday 2020. There are 2 versions of this palette, and this specific palette is based around the waiting room scene in the Beetlejuice movie. If you watch that, I love that movie, by the way. So the theme of this is red, black, and white. So the palette is a hard plastic and it's very thick and bulky, and on the front you have a black and white image of the worm from the movie. Inside the palette you have a full-size mirror and 10 eyeshadow shades. There is a red, gray, black, and white theme to this color story. So we have 6 matte shades, 2 are grays, 2 are deep cranberries, 1 is a matte black, and then 1 is a gray tone white shade. Then we have 4 shimmers, 3 shades that are more in the red and berry family, and then we have 1 flaky shimmer shade that is more on the taupey side. So I'm going to show you swatches of these shades. The 2 cranberry matte shades and the 2 matte gray shades are the ones that had me a little bit hesitant about this color story because they look very similar. And for them to be in a 10-pan palette where those 4 shades look like they could have been condensed into 2 had me over here just like, do I really want to pick this up? But I was pleasantly surprised by the swatches. They swatched really well, and you can see the difference in undertone and depth to the shades. One fun and creative thing that they did with this palette is include a little bit of a faux film strip as the plastic insert in this palette. So there's a little snippet on this plastic insert that is from the waiting room scene from the movie, and I thought that was a really beautiful touch, and it serves a dual purpose for protecting your eyeshadows and keeping your mirror clean. So this palette retailed for $58 and contains a net weight of 17.6 grams or 0.616 ounce of product, which equates to roughly 0.0616 ounce of product per eyeshadow pan, which is actually a pretty decent amount because most eyeshadow palettes on the market range from 0.03 ounces to maybe 0.05 ounces. So you're getting a pretty decent amount of product for the price point. The expected shelf life for this is 12 months, and there's a little warning here about the shades Sawed Girl and Lydia, as these are pressed pigments and they contain ingredients that are not approved by the FDA for use around the eyes. So use at your own risk, which I actually did, and I didn't have any irritation. Again, it's just that they're including red dyes and red pigments that can cause stain into the eyes and can cause irritation. So if you have an issue with red dyes irritating your eyes, just be mindful of that. With all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the 3 looks that I created with this palette, and I wanted them to be 3 distinctively different looks because I wanted to show you the options that you could create with this palette. Of course, you can use my looks as an inspiration and then tweak them just a little bit. Add a little bit of a different color here, change the shimmer shade here. You can mix it up and do different versions of my looks. You can pull in different shades from other palettes, of course, and just have fun with your makeup because that is what we love to do here on this channel. So I'm gonna stop yapping right now and we're gonna jump into the 3 looks that I created, and then we'll talk about my final thoughts at the end of the video. So we're starting off with eyes already prepped and primed, brows filled in. I just have a light wash of concealer on my lids. I'm using the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Deep Tan 55. And I just set it down quickly with a wash of color from my Master Eye Prep and Set kit from Makeup by Mario. So that's what we have going on, and that's what I'm going to use for all the looks that I'm going to showcase. So let's get right into it. I think the very first look I want to do is a gray look. So I'm gonna start out with this matte shade called Sandworm, and I'm gonna grab that on a F05 brush from Chikuhodo. This is a natural hair fox brush, so it's going to pick up tons of color and lay it down, and that's what I want with this matte shade. I want to apply it all the way across my lid space and get as much product as I can packed on. So I'm just going back and forth and building this up, and it's building up pretty well. And this color looks like a white, but it's really a very pale, like cement gray. I love this. It's such an interesting shade. I've always wanted a shade like this, but there are not many brands that come out with these kinds of interesting shades. And I think that layered up really well. I look at that, right? So I'm just gonna go around the edge of the color in the crease, just with the side of the brush to blend that out. That's nice. I really like that so far. All right, now let's go in with the gray color. So I'm gonna start out with the lighter one, which is Shrunken Head, and then we're gonna add a little bit of Tombstone after. So I'm grabbing a large blending brush. This is the Sonia G Detail Pro brush, and I'm gonna apply that on the outer lid. So I'm blending it in with the light gray a little bit and trying to merge them together lightly. These two grays are more on the neutral side. They're definitely not cool toned or blue toned at all. They're definitely more neutral. They lean very gray, even a little bit green. And I'm just blending that lightly in the crease. I'll wipe off my brush to remove the excess and then go back and forth in the crease, windshield wiper motions, just to create a nice gradient. Oh my god, that gray, stunning. Now I have the darker gray Tombstone, and I'm gonna pop that directly on the outer V and outer crease area. And I'm using a smaller blending brush. This is the rounded crease brush from Sonia Kashuk. The Sonias are killing the brush game for me. I love it. So we're gonna lightly blend the edge of that darker gray. Oh wow, that applies so well. You can definitely see a difference in these two gray colors. The first one, Shrunken Head, is definitely lighter. This one is definitely more intense, a little bit deeper, but they still have that very neutral undertone that I love. So I'm just lightly blending around the edge, and these colors are blending so well. I am so impressed right now. I really like that. All right, I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the black, which is Charman. And I'm just gonna grab a touch of that on the tip of a very small blending brush. This is the Classic Crease from Sonia G. And I'm just gonna apply that in the outer V for a little bit of depth. So I'm not pulling it as far up in the crease line and brow bone area as I did with the gray. I'm just using this lightly to darken up those grays, give it that gradient. Oh yes, you see how it's just lightly building up without overwhelming the gray? Oh, I love that. I love a buildable black. I don't like a black that's just like, oh, in your face black. The most useful blacks are buildable, so you can use them to build up other colors and make them darker rather than just, oh, here's a black and that's it. You know what I mean? So this turned out into more of a charcoal gray. I really like that. All right, so let's go ahead and pop on some face makeup, and then I'll come back and finish up the lower lash line area. Alright, so now that we have our face on, I also applied some mascara to my upper lashes just to get things started, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go in with a couple of the reds, I think, on the lower lash line. So I'm gonna start out with the shade Obituary, which is the lighter of the deep reds, and then I'll go in with No Exit, which is the deeper one, to deepen up the outer lash line as well. So I'm gonna start out with Obituary, the lighter dark red, and pop that on the center of the lower lash line, and then I'll grab a bit of the deeper red, which is No Exit, and pop that on the outer lower lash line. These shades are different in depth, definitely, but they're very, very similar. And I feel like you could add the black to the dark red, the obituary shade, to get the deeper red. So did you need both of these shades in the palette with a black when you can use the black to create the depth? I don't think so. And these are a little bit closer in color than the two gray shades to me, but they are applying so well. Oh yes, baby. Those, oh, look at that, right? Alright, let's go in with the shimmery red, which is Lydia. And I think I'm gonna dampen my brush a little bit just to minimize any, you know, kickback that we might get from the product. I don't want that in my eye. And I'm gonna pop that on the inner lower lash line. That, ooh, yes, baby, that is so stunning. That is pretty. That is doing exactly what I want it to do. Yes, yes, yes. Bam, fabulous. I'm gonna apply some lower lash mascara, some lashes, and a little bit of black liner, and we'll be right back yet again. So here you have it, guys. This is the final look, and it's mostly a matte look, and I'm thinking of going in with a bit of the shimmery taupe shade on the inner tear duct. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do just that. So the shade is Juno, and I'm gonna go in with a damp brush because it's very sparkly. So I'm just gonna grab that on the tip of the brush and pop it on the very inner tear duct area, but I'm not applying too much because it is darker than the light gray that we have down, but it has a bit of sparkle to it. Again, I would probably use this with a very sticky base or use it damp as I'm doing now because it is very, very sparkly. It doesn't add too much, but I think it's still very pretty. So here is the first look. Let's zoom out so you can see. You know what? Let's change outfits because I don't think this quite sells the look. Alright, that's more like it. So here is the final look, and I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I love the gray on the eyes. I love the all matte blended out smoky look, and then the inner tear duct, that pop of red. Stunning, right? And then I paired it with a vampy red lip. Ooh, So here you have it. This is the first look.
Hi guys. Hi guys.
My nieces are here to visit and they wanted to say hi. This is Kaylee, the big one. Say hi, Kaylee.
Hi.
Do you have any friends you want to say hi to?
I want to say hi to my friend Garen.
Yeah. She's always watching my channel?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is Casey, the little one.
Hello guys.
Nice, good girl. Anything else you want to say to them?
I want to say,
What do you want to say? You want to be on YouTube too?
yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to do on YouTube?
I want to, like, do cool videos.
What kind of videos? Toys?
Yeah, like toy reviews and stuff, and like challenges.
I like
cartoons. Challenges.
Oh, okay. What do you want to do, Casey?
I do something.
Yeah?
Something. She wants to do something.
Alright, so tell them bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Alright, so for the next look, I'm going to try to do something very simple. And I say try because I just don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm going to start it out as a one shadow look, but with me, you just never know. So the shade we're going to go in with is Dante's Inferno, which looks like a deep red, but it actually translates as like a bronzy iodine shade. So I'm gonna pick up the shade on the shader brush. This is a synthetic brush, so it's gonna be great for picking up shimmers. And I'm applying this color first to the center of the lid. That's where you want the majority of the color. with one shadow looks, you apply just one color. So you want to apply the majority to the center of the lid, and then you're gonna blend and buff out the edges so that it looks like you applied other colors and blended it out, but it's all that one shade. And I think this shade is gonna be great for that because it has that iodine coppery sheen to it, but then as you blend out the edge, it becomes more of a dark brown at the very edge. So I really like that. So I'm just gonna go blend and blend back and forth until we get a nice gradient in the crease. And I'll go in with a blending brush just to further blend that out on both sides. And again, this color is perfect because it starts fading into this brown shade rather than that copper on the lid. I like that. I'm gonna pick up a little bit on the blending brush just to give us some more color and use that now to gently sweep in the crease and bring that color up very slightly into the brow bone space. Again, it's one shadow that we're using for this, so I want to create as much dimension and give like a blown out effect to this color that will look like we used multiple colors when we only used the one. So I'm just gonna keep blending. I think I definitely need another shade for highlighting my brow bone though, and that shade will just be a skin tone shade, so it's really not an extra shade at all. It's just gonna set down the concealer so I don't have any creasing, but it won't change the overall look. And I think, yeah, that's the one shadow look. Let me highlight the brow bone. I'm going to use the shade Blur, which is also from Melt Cosmetics. It's one of my favorite shades from them. I think if you pick up any singles from Melt Cosmetics, it should be this shade because it's like a universal eraser shade. You can use it on the brow bone to help you blend out color. If you make a mistake, if you pull color too high up, it works perfectly for that, and it works great as a quick highlight. I'm gonna pop some of this just on the inner tear duct just to set that concealer down. And now I'm actually gonna spritz my brush just a little bit, and I'm gonna go back into the same shade and pop it on the center of the lid. That's gonna give us a lot more vibrancy to the color, and now this is gonna look even more intense just on the center while the edges are more blown out. So it will again look like we have multiple shades on, but we really just have that one color all over the lid, just buffed out to different intensities. Yeah, that's perfect. That's gonna be it. Let's pull back, do some face work, and show you the finished look. All right, let's do this. Alright, so here we have mascara, lashes applied, and my foundation and all that good stuff, but we want to go ahead and do something on the lower lash line with the same shade. So I'm going to grab the shade on a MAC 242 shader brush, and we're just going to run that on the lower lash line, and I'm pulling that almost all the way in, just avoiding the very inner tear duct, but I'm pulling it all the way under my lower lashes. And then I'm gonna finish up with lower lash mascara and a little bit of black eyeliner and be right back. So here are the eyes completely done. I think this looks stunning. I absolutely love it. But we need to finish up the look with a change of outfit and a little bit of a lip. So I'm gonna do exactly that, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so here we have it. This is the final look, and I think it's absolutely amazing. I paired it with an orangey brown lipstick and my sweater and my situation. I think all of this goes together so well. And here are the eyes up close so you can see the it's so pretty. And imagine this is a single eyeshadow. The only thing I would do different with this look to amp it up a bit is to go in with one of the deep burgundy shades. I'd probably go in with No Exit, which is the deepest shade, just on the outer V to darken that up a bit. But even without it, It looks stunning. I think this look is so beautiful for as simple as it was to accomplish, and I absolutely love it. I think Dante's Inferno is like the perfect shade for a one shadow look, and I love how it turned out. Now, before we run off and do the third look, I am going to go in with the No Exit shade and apply just a little bit of that to the outer V, just to darken it up a bit and to show you how you can change this look and give the eyes a little bit more of a smoky effect without doing too much. Like, I literally just went in with that No Exit shade to darken up the outer V, and it's still a very simple look, but now I've added a little bit of dimension so you can see the difference just a little shadowing makes, and I still absolutely love how this turned out. So hopefully you guys like this second look. Let's go ahead and jump into the third look, which is going to be our final one. Alright guys, we are ready for our third and final look. Eyes are prepped and ready to go. What I'm going to start out with is a little bit of the Blur eyeshadow again from Melt Cosmetics. And I'm going to just pop that in my crease area, just giving myself a light wash of color using a large blending brush. This is the Detail Pro from Sonia G. And then before I do anything else, I'm gonna grab this shade again because there is no true skin tone shade or base shade in the palette. So I'm just gonna use what I have in my collection, and you can use whatever you have in your collection. Again, you don't have to just use a palette on its own to accomplish a look, especially if you find yourself wanting to use another shade. Just go for it, pull in another color, right? And most people will have like a beige shade in their collection that is close to their skin tone. So I just built that up on my inner lid and inner crease area, and now I'm gonna go into the palette. So the first shade I'm gonna grab is Obituary, which is that dark red cranberry shade, and then I'm gonna build up dimension with the No Exit shade next to it, which is a deeper red shade. So I'm gonna grab my Sonia Kashuk crease brush, this is the rounded crease, and pop that on the outer lid area and outer V. I'm just gonna press to tap the color into place, so I'm not blending right now. I'm just using the brush to press the color on to give us ultimate pigmentation. And the pigmentation on this shade specifically is so fantastic, and it's almost to a fault because you can end up having issues with blending it out if your primer is too sticky and it really sticks into place. So just be mindful of that. I cleaned off my brush and I'm just gonna go around the edge of this color in the crease line just to blend it out and blur it out so we don't have any harsh lines. And I'm just gonna go back and forth and create, yeah, that beautiful fade in the crease. Now let's grab the No Exit shade on a smaller blending brush. This is a Sonia G Classic Crease Brush, so it's very small, and I'm using that to define the outer crease and outer V area, add in a bit of depth where we already laid down the previous shade, and you're creating a smoky effect on the outer V area. And I like to start with my mattes. I found that when I apply my mattes first and then apply the shimmer, the mattes stand out a lot more than if I go in with the shimmer first and then apply the matte. It's almost like the shimmers will take away the look of the matte shades and have it looking like an all shimmer look, or have the mattes looking more satin than true shimmers. So that color also works really great. I love these two dark red shades. They're really fantastic. They remind me of the grays. They're just really beautiful. They blend out nicely. And they have, oh, look at that. I'm gonna go in with the first brush that we used, the large blending brush, and go around the edges just to make sure that that is nice and blended. All right, now I'm gonna go in with this beautiful deep cranberry shade. This is the shimmer shade Sawed Girl. And I'm grabbing that on a synthetic shader brush and applying that on the outer lid and the center of the lid. I'm not pulling it all the way in. And I'm applying this dry initially to see if I need to go in with a damp brush, but so far it's applying really beautifully. I'm not pulling it too far on the outer V because I don't want it to cover up, again, that dark matte shade that we have out there. We want to leave that outer V really matte, so I'm just buffing that on that outer lid and bringing it towards the center of the lid. That is stunning, actually. I really like that shade. Wow. Alright, I think I still want to apply it a little bit damp though. So I'm going to spritz my brush just a couple times. And then I'm going to grab the shade and build up the intensity where we applied it. That is stunning. I actually didn't even need to dampen my brush because the pigmentation on this color is already there. So I'm loving that. I'm gonna get myself a different brush and go around the edge of the color and fade it into the peach that we already have on the lid and fade out the crease. Because we applied it damp, there will be some harshness to the edges, so just buff and blend that out using back and forth kind of buffing motions. Also go at the edge where the mattes are to smooth that out as well. That is pretty, yes. To smoke that out even more, I'm gonna go into the matte black Charman and grab that on a really small Sonia mini booster brush. And I'm just gonna apply that to the outer V, like very deliberately, not pulling it all the way in. And I don't want the black to necessarily overwhelm the look. I just want it to darken up that outer V a bit. We have a little bit of fallout, but that's fine. I can clean that up. I'm going back in with the Sonia Kashuk brush just to blend that black into the cranberry shades, so it just looks like a rich deep cranberry rather than a smoky black shade. And I'm just using buffing circular motions to blend that out. Alright, it's mascara time, so I'm gonna clean up and apply mascara and lower waterline liner, and we'll finish up the lower lash line. Alright, the lashes are on, and we're gonna go ahead and finish up the lower lash line before I go in with lower lash mascara and eyeliner. So I'm just gonna go back to the No Exit shade. I'll grab that on my MAC 242 and run that on the lower lash line and build up some depth and dimension. And then I think I'm gonna go in with some shimmer on that lower lash line as well. So I'm going to grab the shade Juno, and I'm gonna dampen my brush because this shade is very flaky, so I don't want it to get into my eyes. And I'm just gonna run that on the inner lower lash line. That actually looks really pretty. Again, very flaky shade. It's not my favorite texture, but a damp brush can help minimize some of that flakiness. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the look, and we will be right back to show you the final look. So here you have it, guys. Here is the completed third look, and I absolutely love this look as well. I have loved all three of these looks. The easiest one was the second look, but the first look is my favorite, and then the third look is a very close second because I love how this looks. So here are the eyes up close so you can see what they look like. I really love this, and I paired it with a light nudish berry lip. Loving it. I think this is absolutely stunning, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing all three of these looks. And I'm sure you're wondering, what are your final thoughts, Tina? What do you think about this palette now? I really like it. I really like it, and I am glad that I got my hands on it. To be fair though, this color story was more or less up my alley because I really like these very deep, rich blood reds, and I love a good gray, so those gray shades, oh, loving it. And then this beautiful light gray shade is stunning. The only shade that I'd say I'm not really thrilled with would be Juno. It is flaky, it is troublesome, but I can still get it to work as an accent shade, and I haven't tried it on the lid just yet, but I'm sure if you foil it, it would look a little bit more subdued. That's the only shade in the palette that I could personally do without, but the other shades, all the mattes performed beautifully. Even the very light shade, it had such great color payoff, just amazing. And the other matte shades, the grays, the cranberries, even the black, blended out so easily. They never got patchy. They applied so well. I got the pigmentation I wanted, and I just had such a great time with those mattes, and I'll definitely be incorporating them in different looks because I love a deep colorful matte and I love a gray, so loving those. The other shimmer shades here are also pretty. This red is a little bit intense, so it doesn't really blend in with the other shades, believe it or not. It's just kind of a little bit too orangey to really complement the other shades, but as an accent color, I love that. And if I wanted to just pair that with another palette, yeah, that's a stunning red shade. And then the other two shades are amazing as well. The Sod Girl shade is really beautiful. It's a subdued kind of purpley berry red, and then with Dante's Inferno, that bronzy iodine shade, that was surprising because it looks like a red, like a deep red in the palette, but when you apply it, it's more of a bronzy red, and I absolutely did love working with that shade. So there you have it. I do not regret purchasing this palette. I am very happy with it. I do think Melt Cosmetics palettes are very expensive though for the amount of product that you get, but their color stories just work and their formulations just work for me. But there's some people out there that do not like the Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow formula and find their palettes to be hit or miss. For me, I've never truly had any trouble with Melt Cosmetics. I've never had trouble with their eyeshadow palettes. I in fact really like them a lot. So not disappointed. I do not regret this palette. I am sorry for those of you who didn't get your hands on this, but I do change my mind about this palette. I only don't like how thick it is though. I don't like the packaging at all, but you know, you win some, you lose some. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and enjoyed the 3 looks that I was able to create from this palette. I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing the looks, getting the outfits together. It was a blast for me. So hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up, favorite, share with your friends. Why not, right? Leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite look was. And if you picked this palette up and if you're enjoying it or if you got some ideas from this video. Now I'm gonna go ahead and leave a full list of, I'm gonna leave a list of all the products used for each look down below in the description box, along with links on where you can pick them up. If those links have an asterisk next to them, that means they are affiliate links. An affiliate link means I will get a small sales commission if you make a purchase through those links. It does help me to put right back into the channel, so I absolutely appreciate you guys supporting me by using my links. But if you're not comfortable with that, just shop the way you normally shop. No muss, no fuss. I'm still happy you're here watching, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave links to my Instagram and Twitter where you can follow me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye, guys.